This is your one and only 𝐈𝐸𝐻81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and today I'm going to show you how to craft some absolutely amazing weapons and armor in Baldur's Gate 3. Let's get to it. Before we jump into the video, I just want to give you a heads up that this video will contain location and some boss spoilers, as well as just a tiny bit of storyline. I will do my best to minimize the spoilers as much as possible, but for those of you who literally want to be surprised about every single thing, it may be a good idea to save this video and come back to it later after you have explored the Underdark a good bit. Once you're in the Underdark, you want to follow the path that I show you here. Follow this path specifically because this is going to lead you into some story events before you get to the location that I'm showing you and do what I'm going to show you to do. Once you play all of that out and get to this location, you will find a boat. You are going to get on that boat and take it out into the lake. After a short cutscene, that is going to lead you into a conversation with a dwarf. Yes, I know they have a name. I have a hard time pronouncing that name, so I'm just going to call them dwarves. Now, you can go about doing this however you want, but I know the options that I'm telling you to choose work, so you can choose them if you want, or you can try to do it your own way. Just make sure you quick save before you get on the boat. So I chose number 2, Deception, told him that his buddy had died back there with the mushroom peeps. He tells you, all right, jumps on your ship, and you end up at the next location where all of this is going to go down. You'll end up in a conversation with a lady dwarf. You tell her that you're a true soul and that you demand respect, which is option number 1. There'll be a short cutscene. She'll be like, oh my God, you are. And then you select number 3. You're going to think this is going to lead you into a fight, but it doesn't. She stands down. From that point, you are going to follow this path here. That is going to lead you back to a bunch of other dwarves, 3 of them to be exact, and 2 of these oxen looking things. And you're going to get into a conversation with them. They're going to tell you that the rubble there needs to be moved and they want you to whip the ox. Now, there's probably an option here where you can get them to just leave the area, but I like fighting them, especially because one of them has some ore on him and I wanted the ore. So in order to get into a fight with them, you choose number 2 and then number 4. Be careful not to go over to the far edge there because they will knock you off the cliff into the abyss. I highly advise staying back to the area in which you initially came into that whole area there. That way they can't really knock you off the cliff or anything like that. The ox also have a charge attack that will do the same thing. It just knocks you backwards and knocks everybody in all different directions. So once you finish this fight, you are going to walk over to that rubble and you are going to put down an explosive barrel. Then you're going to shoot that black powder barrel with any type of fire and blow it up, and it blows up that rubble. This leads you to an entire upper section of this whole area, allowing you to pretty much bypass any other interactions in that area until you are ready. As soon as you walk into the area there after blowing up the rubble, there is a little pouch on the ground. Open that up, you will find some more ore. I don't know what this ore is used for. This isn't used for what we're doing today, but I have a feeling it's going to be used for more of this kind of stuff in the future, so make sure you grab it. Then you are going to head up the stairs and make a right. Be careful as soon as you get to the top of the stairs, there is an archway and there is a gargoyle statue. Stop right there and separate your party. This entire pathway is filled with traps, and you need to be very careful, and having your party separate means you can move them all individually and ensure that you don't set off any of the traps. You don't need to disarm them. They're really easy to see. You can see here they are on the map. There are 2 long pieces that go across the pathway, and then there are little tiny buttons in the middle of the areas where there are the things that put out flame. Just avoid these spots. They repeat over and over again through this whole pathway. And avoiding them is really easy. All you have to do is just jump over them. There is a ladder immediately to your left after you pass the first set of traps. You want to go down that ladder. Once you have your entire party down the ladder, you are going to put 3 people on this little hanging platform. You're going to leave one of them behind. This person is going to be your person who operates the levers. If you follow this guide exactly, you will bypass any fight, but there is an area where there are some enemies. It's through a locked door, and if you open that locked door, you will find yourself in a fight. So if that's the case and you're worried about getting into a fight, I advise taking your best fighters across and leaving your weakest person or one of your support people behind to operate the levers. Once you have all 3 people on the platform, you want to pull the right lever. This will shift the platform to the other side. From there, you want to take your best jumper and have them jump into this middle catwalk area. And you can see right here is where we pick up our very first mold. Make sure you grab that. Then you want to run that person all the way to the end of that catwalk area, and then you're just going to leave them there. We'll pick up back with with them in a little bit. Now you are going to group your other two people together and have them jump over to the other side. Once you get to the other side, you will see that there is a door. Lockpick that door and get through it, and then you are going to run up to the top and all the way to the very back. In the very back, up at the top of the stairs, you will find a skeleton. Loot that skeleton. That is where our next mold is going to be. There is a little side door in this area, and that side door is where the enemies are. As long as you don't open that door, you won't get into a fight. I advise waiting and coming back here later with your entire party. Now you're going to head out that door that you just came into, and you're going to turn left and follow down that pathway. And then when you get to the end of that pathway, there is a jump spot. Jump across the little gap, and then you want to head across the rickety looking catwalk there and on up to the top of the stairs where there are levers. There is a skeleton right beside the levers, and if you loot that skeleton, that is where you will find our third mold. The first lever you want to pull is the right lever. This will raise up another catwalk, allowing you to swap to the person that you ran to the end of the catwalk at the start of this thing and jump them over to the catwalk that you just raised. Then you want to hit the right lever again. This lowers the catwalk, and then you hit the left lever. This will allow you to jump over across to another rickety catwalk. You run down that catwalk, and then you can jump over into the forge area. And as soon as you jump across there, you will find another mold. After you grab that mold, you want to quickly turn left and grab the war point. Now grab the rest of your team and bring them over to the forge area. You're going to need them because in order to get one of these tablets, you're going to get into a fight. Then you're going to turn left and go up the stairs, turn left again, and right here on the ledge is another mold. Now you're going to head directly across from that location, and you can see the other mold there on the ground. As soon as you head over to it, you will initiate a fight. There is one guy around the corner to the left, and there are two guys up on the balcony just above where the mold is. After you take them out, you will be able to pick up the mold. Be very careful here that you don't get shoved off the side into the lava. This is a bit of a dangerous spot. At this point, you should have all 6 molds. You should have the splint mold, the shield mold, the longsword mold, the scale mail, the mace, and the scimitar. Now all you need is some mithril, and all of that can be found right here in the same area. So for the first node, you are going to head right from the warp point, and you can see it right over there in the distance. You're going to go down and around the outer edge of this area here, and then you are going to jump across the lava. To get the mithril out of the node, all you have to do is just attack the node, and it will drop a single piece of mithril. Now to get the other piece, you are going to head back up and around to the stairs that lead down to the forge, and you can see it across there on the way to your left side. You're going to jump down to the second set of stairs, and then you can jump down off the side to a little ledge there, and then there's a path that leads over to it. Be warned, be ready, because there is a fight here. There's a bunch of little tiny fire explodey demon guys that pop out of nowhere and surprise you. So be ready for that fight and be ready to take a bunch of fire damage. After you kill them, you can then go over and damage the node and loot it just like you did the other one. So this is the path to the forge once you come out of the warp point, just to make sure that it is clear. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I just want to be thorough. Once you get down to the forge has 2 spots in it. It has a spot where you put in the ore, and then it has a spot where you put in the mold. You do not get the ore back, obviously, because the ore becomes the item, but you do get the mold back after you cast the item. So just click on the giant cylinder in the center, and a little box will pop up. Hit tab, drop a single piece of the ore into that, click the button, and it will accept it. Then off to the side, you can see there is a little lever there and like a little square boxy looking area. You want to click that and then put the mold in the little box that pops up, and click the button and it will accept it. From there, you are going to head over and pull the large lever on the opposite side. This is going to lower the entire platform down. Okay, so this next part is where you have to fight a boss. Let's talk about boss prep, because this is very important. If you do what I tell you to do, this fight is an absolute pushover and super simple to handle. If you do not do what I tell you to do, your entire party's probably going to wipe multiple times and the fight's going to feel impossible to you. So once the platform is lowered, you will see a wheel over on the other side. You turn that wheel. This initiates the boss fight. For this fight, all you really need to have is 2 fighter style characters, so either a barbarian and a fighter, or 2 fighters, or 2 barbarians and a cleric, or 2, or any other person that can cast command. You want to make sure that both of your fighter characters have a bludgeoning weapon. This thing takes increased damage from bludgeoned weapons. You place your two fighters or two barbarians or fighter and barbarian at about this location here. You place your cleric back a little bit away from the fight area because it's going to come out of the vent and it's going to stay right there at the vent. You use your last person to turn the wheel. As soon as you turn the wheel, it initiates a cutscene and then you will be in the fight, and it should be directly in front of your two fighter characters. Buff them up with any bonus actions you can buff them up with, or if you have another character that can run support other than your cleric, use that character to buff one of them. You want to make sure you leave an action open for your cleric so that they can cast command, because you are going to command this thing to halt after you are done attacking it. So the order in which this should go is buff, attack, 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 command, halt. Hopefully you manage to pull off the command halt, and then this thing just skips its turn, and then you can continue to rinse and repeat the rotation. And if everything goes well, this fight should be an absolute piece of cake. Now do keep in mind that this thing needs to be standing in the lava, so you don't want it moving around a whole bunch. And if the lava goes away, which if the fight goes too long, the lava can go away, you need to turn the wheel again so that the lava comes back out, because if this thing is not standing in any lava, you cannot damage it. Once you have killed it, make sure that you turn the wheel again to fill the whole area with lava. Then you are going to go back to the large lever that you pulled that lowered the whole forge, and you are going to hit that lever again. Once you hit that lever, it will come down and smash the center cylinder, and then the mold area will eject your item. And then you can walk over and pick up your item. Then you want to hit the lever that is next to the mold area, and that will eject the mold. And then you can just rinse and repeat the insertion process and the filling the area with lava and going back over and hitting the large lever again to bring the hammer back down to craft your next item. So from what I can tell, all of the weapons are the same. They are the adamantine weapons, and they have Diamond's Bane on them, which states that if an adamantine weapon hits an object, the hit is always a critical. Now I have not tested these out yet because I'm not sure which one I want to use, but do note that it says an object and not an entity or a humanoid or something like that. So I think this effect only works when you're hitting non-animate objects and not when you're hitting people. Once again, not 100% sure on that, but the real reason that you want these items is because they are a lethal weapon, and that states that this weapon ignores resistance to whatever the weapon's damage is. So for example, if you have the longsword, which does slashing damage, it ignores resistances to slashing damage. But the really insane ones, and the ones that you probably want to craft because they combo really well together, are the shield and one of the armors. The adamantine shield has 3 effects on it. This shield is insane. So it states adamantine shield. When a melee attack misses you, the attacker is sent reeling for 2 turns. The reeling effect adds -1 to their damage. So if they hit you for 10, they only hit you for 9. On top of that, it has shield bash that states when a foe hits you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to knock it prone unless they succeed a dexterity saving throw. This is insane because things that are prone take additional melee damage when you attack them, and they also have disadvantage when they are prone. On top of that, it also has attackers can't land crit hits on the wearer, so it makes you immune to critical strikes. The split mail also has multiple effects, so it has magical plate, all incoming damage is reduced by 2. It also has intense adamantine backlash. When a melee attack hits you, it's this time unlike the shield where they have to miss you to get the effect. This is when they actually hit you, the attacker is sent reeling for 3 turns. It also gives you disadvantage on stealth checks, and attackers cannot land crit hits if you are wearing this. So if you have this equipped and you have the shield equipped, whether the attacker hits you or misses, they are sent reeling. The splint mail is your heavy armor option, and then you have a medium armor option, which is the scale mail. The scale mail does the exact same thing, but it's slightly less. So all incoming damage is reduced by 1, and the adamantine backlash is only for 2 turns instead of 3 turns. Other than that, everything else on it is the exact same. These armors and weapons are absolutely insane, and hopefully you found this guide helpful and informational. If you did, please consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload more Baldur's Gate content. And if you're looking for some more content, you can find a link to another one of my videos on the screen right now. I want want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to all of my channel supporters for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to become an official channel supporter, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.